So what's up everybody, Black Clover 323 fan translations are out, and this chapter was very interesting. Now that we have the dialogues translated to this chapter, it does give it a deeper meaning. Also, it leads to certain things about what could possibly happen with Yami, and it's good to see that Yami, even though his magic is dark magic, he was still able to become a light or not. There's an implication that William Vengeance might actually die. So let's get into my Black Clover 323 review. First of all, if you like anime, manga reviews, discussion, spoilers, and theories, definitely hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, like, comment. I'm rebuilding the channel. I was suggested this. I'm actually starting Patreon. I'm thinking about doing like just the live reactions of the Black Clover chapters and also other mangas as well. Let me know in the comments if you guys are interested. I would love to do it. The contributions towards the Patreon will help this channel tremendously. I can invest in editors, better stock videos, and also pay for the better thumbnails. So honestly, if it wasn't for y'all, I would have quit in December when my channel got taken down by Suecia with the false copyright claims. This chapter leaves more questions than answered. We were wondering how did Yami get healed, and we figure out that Yami kinda got healed, but it wasn't really explained exactly how he got healed. I know Greg used transmutation magic, but it doesn't look like she didn't really fully heal Yami. I'm gonna make a video about that, but it looks like Yami might have a devil heart moving forward. I know there's been a video about this already in the fandom, but I will definitely talk about possibly Yami having a devil heart in a devil form, which would be really epic. The beginning of the chapter literally starts off with a little flashback. As I was saying before, Greg was trying to heal Yami. She figures out that his construction of his body is similar to that of the devil possessing Asta. You know, I was wondering, did the Black Bulls 100% knew who Libe is? And it looks like since Asta said him and Libe can use that final strike when Lucifero was not completely manifested, he was just that giant blob, they knew about Libe since then. But I kind of wish that there was a dialogue that we could finally figure out the Black Bulls officially meeting Libe versus just us learning about it afterwards through dialogue. I wish we actually had a scene of that. At the end of the day, I know for a fact, even if it's a devil possessing Asta, the fact that Asta trusts Libe, the Black Bulls are gonna trust Libe as well. It would be really funny if Yami has like a coat for Libe and eventually lets him become part of the guild as well. We'll see. Vanessa looks like she's trying to do Rogue's magic, see if she can do anything as well, but maybe it was Vanessa and Greg together maybe healed Yami in a certain way, but from what it looks like, Yami wasn't 100% healed by Greg. She pretty much did what she could, and Yami somewhat healed himself. That's what I think, because you just Yami just jumping up saying thank you guys saved me. Is there a possibility that Yami might be part devil now? This just brings a lot more questions, and that's what I love about Black Clover. Patri, Langris, and William Vengeance come in. Patri, it is confirmed that he can't be in combat, and I think this is why the elves haven't really been in combat this far. Like, they taught the people how to do ultimate magic, but you didn't see the elves fighting, and I kept asking why are they here. Most of the elves that we know, they were reborn, so technically they don't have grimoires because their grimoires got destroyed when they died originally. So it makes sense why the elves aren't fighting. I was always asking that. I was always putting that in prediction videos, and it makes me wonder, are the elves eventually going to have their own grimoire? Will William Vengeance almost die and somehow Patri saves William Vengeance by going back into his body in some way or another? I mean, I'm just throwing it out there, but I know a lot of people in the fandom aren't going to like it because a lot of people haven't forgiven him. Even Yami hasn't forgiven him for the whole elf thing. So William Vengeance is really on the verge of death, and it's wild that Gray did not help William Vengeance, but I understand why they didn't do it. It's because they don't even know how they did it. They're not entirely sure if Yami's actually healed or not. From what it looks like, I truly believe that Gray didn't heal William Vengeance because she just doesn't know how to. So with the remaining magic, William Vengeance give Yami a new katana. It's World Tree Magic Blade of Mistletoe. I knew this was going to have implications to Norse mythology, and it has to do with Iceland, which is actually one of my favorite Nordic countries. But basically, the blade is sometimes also referred to mistletoe, and Wikipedia said that this blade was actually used in a saga to fight two Swedish kings. Eventually, the sword was not needed to finish off the Swedish king. I wonder if that's an implication that this is Yami's katana for now, but it's not going to be his 100% replacement. Apparently in the wiki, that the owner of this blade lost it because of some witchcraft, and eventually found it, but it wasn't needed to finish off the main villain. We all know that we're gonna get an arc with Yami's homeland. We're gonna go there, we're gonna explore more about his background. He's probably gonna get another katana from his homeland, so it makes sense that this was just gonna be like a placement holder. Still, it's really cool because Yami's power plus William Vengeance power equals pretty much the Tree of Cliff-Off ritual. So this is gonna be very effective towards Lucifero, who came out because of both their magics. Now they have another person that could possibly hurt Lucifero. Yami says something interesting. He says that he hasn't forgive William Vengeance for the elf invasion, but if we survive this, let's have a drink. And that's an implication as to who Yami is as a character. We all knew Yami. He's rough around the edges, but at the end of the day, he's a pretty decent person. He's just not decent per like mannerism. He's a decent person in heart. He cares about people, even though he doesn't really show it. Yami, he basically forgave him in a way, in terms of, instead of saying, oh, you are forgiven, hey, let's move forward. And that's what this chapter is really about, because it happens with Not too. Not has his moment where he wants to do the self-deletion, and at the end of the day, Yami, who has dark magic, was the light for Not and pulled him out of that darkness of self-deletion. For YouTube terms, you know why I had to say self-deletion. So we get back to the present. Lucifero automatically realizes who Yami is. He is the person with dark magic. He actually pushed back Yami. As Lucifero was about to punch Asta to finish him off, Lucifero hits Zora, but he does a trap counter magic. Also, Sekre does a mono method sealing. She's most likely sealing the pain. Those two together were able to fend off that attack so that Asta is still alive, because if Asta would have gotten hit by that attack, most likely he would have been dead. Trap magic might also be a way to counter Lucifero, but unfortunately we all know, because trap magic takes a long time to actually do, it's not going to be the most reliable source to oppose Lucifero. And this is the part that I was talking about that I really liked about this chapter. Nah, it's clear that he hates himself. He still feels guilty for his actions, has not been able to actually go to the Black Bulls and be with Yami, because Not basically feels like Yami should hate him because of what happened to Morgan. It was Not's fault that Morgan is dead. He hasn't realized that Yami still considers him as a friend, because they are childhood friends, regardless if his actions led to Morgan's death, because at the end of the day, Morgan sacrificed himself to save Not. I loved how this dialogue between them happened. It shows that Yami, even though his name means darkness, he's still a light. It's kind of like a yin and yang type of thing, because really Not's brother and Morgan are basically the yin yang symbol. Morgan, he's obviously the good. Not is obviously the bad. Morgan most likely has some bad in him, but it was never shown. Not, he was always that troublemaker, but deep down he has some good in him, because we've seen him care so much about his brother. You see in this chapter a different angle towards Not's character. He is somebody that has been suffering silently all this time because he blames himself for what he did for his brother. This shows that Not, who is this person that we always thought was mysterious, not only did Yami remind him of his old self, of the mistakes he did, his brother dying, and not thinking that Yami wouldn't forgive him. Not was just so hurt this whole entire time that he couldn't be there to be with the Black Bulls, and realize that he built a guild to help those that have been outcast, and he's helping people who don't really have a place in the Clover Kingdom society. You have fallen nobles, you have peasants, drunkards, you have people that are associated with devil worshipping. So the guild that Not built without him really actually being there is actually something similar that Morgan wanted. Morgan wanted Not to be a magical knight. Technically he's a magical knight now. Not is helping out people, regardless if Not doesn't really realizes that. That's something that Morgan most likely would have wanted to do with Yami if he was alive. So at the end of the day, Not should be living the life that his brother Morgan would have, because his brother Morgan gave up his life so that Not could live. I love this, that flashback all coming to a full circle in this chapter. It's poetic. It's beautiful. I loved it. It made the flashback with Morgan and Not that much more valuable. This is such a huge character moment for Not that I definitely see Not being a better, not only a vice captain, but most likely just a better person overall. We get to see him be his real self. He can smile and not have that face of depression where he has to force to smile, because you see that he kept doing these fake smiles. You know, he would say some really harsh things and have like a fake smile, and I was always wondering what was hiding behind that smile. And yes, we had that tragic flashback, and I didn't really connect the two dots together, but this chapter really put that in my focus, that he had this mask on this whole time because of the depression that he was dealing with his brother being dead because of him. Moving forward, I don't see Not die. This chapter makes me think Not's not gonna die. I think this is the moment that Not needed, and this is basically him getting forgiveness, not only for himself, but also for Morgan through Yami. But yes, that's all I have to say about this chapter. This chapter was amazing. I loved it. I love how Black Clover is a fantasy world, but it touches real life issues in terms of classism, depression, self-deletion. There's a lot of aspects of realness in it. A lot of people that struggle with depression or have friends that struggle with depression could relate to this. I know a lot of people that could have self-deleted themselves. If it wasn't for me or somebody else that helped them, they probably would have done it. Let me know what you think about this chapter. Let me know what you think about about not finally forgiving himself, finally showing his true self towards Yami that he's been hiding this whole entire time with that mask of depression. Let me know what you think about Zora stepping in and countering Lucifero's attack. What do you think is going to happen with William Vengeance? Do you think he's going to die? Do you think now Yami is a threat to Lucifero in terms of him using William Vengeance World Tree magic plus his dark magic combined? Do you think that he's another person that could possibly finish off Lucifero, or is he just going to be another person that can actually cut him and hurt him? Like if you liked the video, comment, subscribe, and I'm out of here.